was bad. It should have been, its own thing, not leading up to Royal Rumble.
Let's go back to Raw, like the Raw that just happened the other day. So Rollins, Mahal got the hell beat out of him by Elias Guitar. Hilarious to watch it every time because good guitar shot, seeing it explode and all. It's always fun to watch.
And then Nia Jax. So now she's
a bully. Yeah. Nia Jax has become the bully.
I don't understand. Again, this is the lack of long-term booking.
It's not even booking. It's just writing.
They have Nia Jax.
Had her do a feud where she was, told that she is a bully, and it's like, no, she's not a bully. She's the good guy.
She was getting made fun of from Alexa Bliss, and she was, this baby face who was being bullied by Alexa Bliss, and now
she's a heel.
Literally, the next pay-per-view for Raw, she's a heel kind of bullying someone.
And I cannot stand also watching Raw, and every 30 minutes, all you hear is stupid Michael Cole. Let's go to the NBC at front where Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair were. It's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
We saw it already. We showed it at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, again, that is not as much as I hate Michael Cole. A lot of the stuff that he does is not his fault.
I just hate his voice. I just hate when he comes back and he just sounds like you haven't seen it before. He talks, he says
stutters. He's like,
right.
Right. You knew it was happening, buddy. It's in the script.
It's written out already. It's right in front of you.
And the best is when he tries to act super surprised, but he has all these facts. He's like, oh my god, Bray Wyatt just returned. He's a 4-time Intercontinental Champion who made his debut in August of Oh my god, he just returned. Okay, but how did you know that?
I hate when he says oh my god as well.
He stinks.
There's only one guy who can do oh my god,
and that is
Joey Styles.
Mr. Joey Styles. All right, so Nia Jax, she's working super heel. She held an exhibition to show why Ronda Rousey wouldn't be able to defeat her at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
So basically, it was just like a squash match versus some jabroni female, and Ronda was doing commentary. Ronda, she's got to step her game up if she wants to,
She's getting better. She's getting better, and you could tell she's not just phoning it in like a certain Brock Lesnar. She's actually trying to get better. She's improving. She's working on trying to be able to talk. She is very reminiscent as a female Kurt Angle to me so far. She is really bad when it comes to saying things. She stutters. She says the wrong words. She can't say McMahon right sometimes, but she's really good in the ring so far. So far, everything I've seen of her in the ring, WrestleMania, her house show performances, her in the Performance Center, it's all impressive.
I'll say this, though. Kurt Angle has an excuse. He, has brain problems probably at this point. When Kurt Angle started, he was on fire. Kurt Angle from his introduction, was just killing it. So, I don't know what her excuse is. I think she might be a little scared.
It could also be brain trauma. I mean, she did get knocked out twice.
I have a bold prediction. Bold prediction.
Let's hear it.
Ronda Rousey beats Nia Jax in 30 seconds. It's not even close. It's not a long match because, she's not going to be able to tell a story of a long match. She's relatively new. And all of her UFC fights were, 15, 30 seconds at the most?
Yeah.
They never got out of the first round.
No.
So I expect this to be a 1 minute, even something ridiculous, like a 7-second match, just right into an armbar tap out. Because if you just look at the card, there's 10 matches.
You're right.
There's 10 matches at this next pay-per-view. So I think this will be a short one. Let's continue moving on with Raw. Matt Hardy and Bray Wyatt defeated The Ascension. The Ascension, I mean, they've just
That's all we have to say about it.
They've been booked so bad. And I don't know too much about their NXT run, but everyone says they were the bee's knees.
Out of all the NXT tag team champions, they were definitely the number 2 tag team champ.
Behind who?
The Revival. The Revival killed it.
And both of them are just
they're just jobbers. Well, you know what? It might be. I honestly, you know what I think it is? I think they're going to keep these guys as jobbers for maybe a little while longer, maybe a year or so, and then once the tag team division has evolved a little more, I think you'll see these guys then just turn and become the guys.
I don't think there's any hope with the Ascension.
Oh, I mean the Revival. The Ascension's done.
Yeah, the Revival though, I think. If given the opportunity, they are, main event tag teamers.
You just need Vince to just let Triple H book.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
And the Revival and the Ascension will thrive with Triple H booking because I was watching a thing about CM Punk, who, by the way, is in trial now against Chris Mahan.
I'm not sure what the name of the doctor is, but
no, Chris Aman. Chris Aman is the doctor's name.
He's got a fight this Saturday, CM Punk.
Right, which is I don't know what's going on with that. It's in Chicago, but this is the big legal battle. I was looking at a bunch of stuff about CM Punk, and CM Punk hated Triple H. Like they did not like each other, and the reasoning behind that was because Punk always said that Triple H never gave the young guys a chance. He never was big on the young guys. He was always big on the proven vets of the guys that need to run the show. And it's just very odd now to see that Triple H has basically become the embodiment of what CM Punk wanted to do as well, of the younger guys coming in and thriving in the company.
Yeah, the only problem with that was Triple H was still a full-time performer. So what CM Punk is talking about, CM Punk's debut pay-per-view was, I believe, Survivor Series 2006, and he's actually part of a team with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and they kind of stole the spotlight from the show. Triple H, always wanted to go over in matches with Punk. They fought, countless times. And Punk never got the victory. So CM Punk is true in the sense, or right in the sense that Triple H, held back younger talent when Triple H was the wrestler. But Triple H, is very adamant at pushing these young guys on NXT.
Yeah, which I think, honestly, if CM Punk were to ever return to WWE, which I honestly think is inevitable
I think it will happen.
Once he gets the hell beat out of him this weekend, and then, maybe he does a little stint with the Bullet Club. But once... And honestly, too, I see the Jackson brothers coming to WWE eventually, too.
I don't know.
They were asked about it, and the whole thing with them is that if Omega's willing to do it, then it can't be the worst thing.
And we're talking about the Young Bucks.
The Young Bucks, Matt and Nick Jackson.
Yeah.
And, their whole thing is, like, if Omega's thinking about it, then, how bad could it be? Because Omega's on fire. Kenny Omega is probably one of the best wrestlers on the planet.
Oh, yeah. As far as in-ring ability goes, he's, top 2 or 3.
And his style of wrestling is Triple H's style of storytelling. Like, Triple H likes to tell stories.
I don't know how well Omega is with telling story. I don't know.
Did you watch his match against
I've only watched it's the only match I've seen him.
Pretty good.
But I don't know how much that has to do with Chris Jericho. Because I've heard, Omega's a lot of a spot monkey at times, kind of just does flips and moves for the sake of doing moves. But if you have a guy like Chris Jericho, he could tell a story with a broom in the ring.
That's true. We were talking about it
with
before.
a turtle.
With a turtle. With a random turtle on the road.
And speaking of Chris Jericho, real quick, and we'll finish this Raw, I was looking up, because Jericho has his cruise. It's the Rock and Wrestling Cruise that's happening in October of this year.
Yep.
And I was looking into going on it.
Really?
It's like $1,000 per person, but if you get a few people, if you get 4 people, it's like, $500-$600. And, it's a stacked lineup. They're going to have, parties.
And you're going to get to meet all these guys,
meet
too.
a bunch of wrestlers.
They're all going to be on the cruise.
It's a cruise, too. So, you're getting wrestling, a vacation.
The only thing that I don't like, if you want to go on that cruise, and here's a little, meteorology for you. Mm-hmm. It's a really bad time to go down on a cruise. Like, that's like hurricane and tropical storm season.
Yeah, I don't know too much about it. It's in October. I want to say it's like late October. And the only problem I have with it is you have to go to Miami, because that's where they leave.
Yeah, that's just the only problem for me, is that's like tropical storm season down there.
Yikes.
So, there's a lot of risk going into it. I'm sure that's why it's as cheap as it is. Think about $1,000 for how many days of wrestling?
It's like a 3 or 4 day cruise.
Right, so it's like 4 days of you're on a cruise first. Second off, there's wrestling every night, right? And these
rock and roll.
Right, rock and roll. Like, you're going to have, him and his band Fozzy playing, and you're going to be, watching wrestling like every night. It's going to, it's a lot of awesome stuff going on for, if it's $1,000, let's say. That's not a lot of money.
But it's up to a lot more. That's like the weakest package. You get like a $5,000 package.
But even still,
I don't know too much about what a generic cruise costs.
Yeah,
but I'm
just saying it's a bit. I don't think it's the best time to go on a cruise down there. But
so maybe that's why it's cheap. Let's finish up Raw. Kevin Owens defeated Bobby Roode. Again, a matchup I don't care about, and I like both of these performers. I think Roode, as we've talked about before, needs to eventually turn heel, because he's such a good heel, as we've seen in TNA and in NXT, and Owens is always money. Sami Zayn issued an apology to Bobby Lashley in the WWE Universe for last week's segment. Lashley interrupted, challenged him to a match at Money in the Bank, then crushed Zayn's hand in a handshake. Bobby Lashley's terrible. He's, being...
Agreed.
I think he's being booked horribly. I don't think he's as bad as we've we're seeing him, I think he can be better. Even Jake last week was saying he did do some good work in TNA, and I've heard he's done good work in TNA.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just, he's such a white meat baby face, like, hi, good to see you, my sisters, he needs an edge to him, and I think going up against a guy like Sami Zayn is just bad news, because Sami Zayn is loved by the internet darlings, and Chicago is such an internet, inside wrestling community. So I think, to me, I think it's a bad first matchup.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn versus Bobby Lashley.
I
for
agree.
Bobby Lashley's sake. Drew McIntyre defeated Chad Gable. I actually didn't see this match, but I'm intrigued because I think they're two awesome workers. I think Chad Gable's one of the best in-ring performers in the company.
I agree. And McIntyre is also pretty good too. He's been on fire recently with all of his promos he's cutting and such. Dallas and Curtis Axel held an in-ring barbecue. Oh, did I say it wrong? Sorry. Curtis Axel held an in-ring barbecue to convince other teams in the tag team division to let them have a title shot. This script for this scene was put on the internet.
Who wrote? I did see that. Yeah.
So a lot of speculation on what's going on there.
You can't improvise.
Yeah.
Stick to the script. Right. And it's just, it's such BS.
It just sucks.
Yeah.
Rhino ate a bunch of bologna sandwiches.
I'm sure he did.
The best part. And then they put him through a table. The ECW legend.
Eating bologna sandwiches and being jobbed out by jobbers.
How does Paul Heyman feel about that?
I don't know.
Probably doesn't care.
Yeah, he doesn't care. He gets a paycheck.
Sasha Banks.
This was the main event.
Gauntlet match, which this is depressing.
Why?
Why are we giving Sasha Banks this?
Because Sasha Banks in ring is one of the best females.
Ruby Riott should have won this.
I think both of them should be in this match.
No.
I think someone like Lana does not deserve to be in here. Lana can't wrestle at all. She's a very attractive lady. Probably the most attractive on the roster at this moment, with Alexa Bliss.
Yeah, okay, good.
And the fact that she's wrestling in a ladder match is hysterical.
I want to see Lana hit like
a 450 splash.
Yeah, and then everyone just shuts up in the arena. People don't know what to say.
I think right now we're going to see finally a Bayley heel turn.
I don't know. They've been screwing up Bayley and Sasha so bad.
I think this is where you go with it, and you build this up for a SummerSlam match. You have Bayley push Sasha off the ladder,
and then
just go with it.
But I guess. But my whole thing too is if you look at this gauntlet match, which is basically copy and paste from earlier in the year with the men, because that went really well, and it's we'll just copy it with the women.
But at least this had a reason.
Yeah,
they had a gauntlet match earlier in the year for no reason. Remember that?
Yes.
And Seth Rollins wrestled for an hour, but he
killed it.
But there was no point to it.
That's true. Or, no, it was. It was for the Elimination Chamber.
No, it wasn't.
Are you sure?
Yeah, they were already in the Elimination Chamber. It was all the competitors in the Elimination Chamber in a gauntlet match.
Okay. I thought it was some sort of stipulation.
Nope, no stipulation.
Okay.
It was ridiculous.
Whatever it was, think of this. You have Bayley versus Liv Morgan first. Whatever. Bayley versus Sarah Logan. Sarah Logan, has potential maybe. Could have been good.
Yeah.
Ruby Riott versus Bayley. Ruby Riott beats Bayley. That's pretty good. Ruby Riott's great right now. She's on fire. Ruby Riott versus Mickie James, probably one of the best females of all time, with a pretty good little match there. And
she also beat Dana Brooke before that.
Right. Oh, yeah. I forgot Dana Brooke. Why is Dana Brooke there?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Because they need to fill up time.
Right. She should have fell on the way to the ring. That would have been hilarious. Pull Titus. And then Sasha Banks beats Ruby Riott. Which that's
fine though, because it doesn't really hurt Ruby Riott because she wrestled 3 matches.
It does though.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Because how does that advance Ruby Riott? It doesn't. It sets her back. You lost to Sasha Banks, who is probably the worst champ of all time.
That's ridiculous.
She can't defend a title. She has never successfully defended a title. Bayley said it perfectly. How many times have you won the belt? And she goes, I'm the 4-time women's champion. Yeah, how long were those reigns for?
Ooh.
Not even a day long. One of them wasn't a day long. Literally, it was lost before 24 hours struck. So, honestly, Sasha Banks, as you've written her as the loser champion, and you're going to put the loser champion in the Money in the Bank, and if you have Bayley turn heel on Sasha, you can't let Bayley lose that match at SummerSlam. That can't happen. Bayley will not lose as a heel Because you need to get Bayley over as a heel because she's over as a face.
I don't think she's over as a face at all.
Not as much as she used to be, but still, people don't know how to react to a heel.